I'm joined on the line from the UK by Lisa Otto. She's an African relations expert, and she's going to speak to us about the latest Boko Haram attack that saw over 2,000 people killed. And she's going to especially speak to us about the international community's response to these attacks. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Now, Lisa, this happened at the very same time the horrific killings in Paris happened, where 12 people lost their lives. But they certainly weren't given the same weight in terms of reporting, and very few people seemed to understand the gravity of what had happened in Nigeria.
Sure. I mean, it was not reported to the same extent across the international media. I don't even think that we saw it to the same extent on African media, which is fairly disappointing. And I think at least up until a couple of days ago, you'd seen African leaders kind of tweeting their support for the Paris attacks, but not saying anything about Nigeria. And then that was true even for Nigerian leaders up to a couple of days ago. So it's certainly quite sad that we see this big disparity in media coverage.
Lisa, last time we spoke about the concept of clicktivism and this idea that we all love to sit behind our PC screens and tweet things with the hashtag Je suis Charlie. So talk to us a little bit more about clicktivism, especially in the light of the massive social media uptake we saw when it came to the Paris shootings and the very few social media accounts or trending words that were related to Nigeria, especially considering how we were all obsessed with bringing back our girls just last year.
I think it was quite sad that this, the attack in Baga kind of came up in relation to the Paris attack. So what we started seeing was that everybody was kind of, as you say, tweeting and putting Facebook updates and the like about the Paris attack, until we started seeing reportage that said, but hey, this thing happened in Nigeria, why has that been ignored? So it's almost as if it's come up in direct relation to Paris, and one wonders if Paris hadn't happened, whether the international media would have picked it up to the same degree at all. So that's certainly been, I think, an interesting element of the kind of clicktivism around this particular incident. We've seen a hashtag come up as well, Je suis Niger, Je suis Nigeria, and then there have been some locals who've translated that into kind of Yoruba or Igbo, whatever language they might speak. I think, unfortunately, that these things, they're not having a concrete effect, unfortunately. And I think perhaps the problem is that people aren't able to relate to these kinds of incidents that are happening in very rural parts of Africa. And so perhaps this is one of the reasons that we're not seeing a wider response. I think people are desensitized to terror attacks that happen kind of in the third world or the developing world. People can't really relate to it. And it's sad, really, because, I was walking through central London the other day, a couple of days after the Paris attack on Sunday, actually. And there'd been this big kind of gathering in Trafalgar Square with all kind of national landmarks lit up with a French flag. And you certainly won't be seeing anything kind of to that tune for Nigeria.